Hey everybody, welcome back to Magic Orthodoxy. My name's David. This is the Project Subtle deck of cards. Let's talk about what makes a deck great for cardistry. All right, Project Subtle. This was created by Project Shuffle. Project Subtle by Project Shuffle. These were printed from Cardamundi out in Belgium. And the designers behind this deck want you to know that this is a new and creative, very innovative way of designing a deck of cards that could be built for improved cardistry. So what you're looking at is a completely custom and very modern deck of playing cards. These subtle playing cards have been completely redesigned from scratch for people who are into flourishing and cardistry. You're going to notice all sorts of isometric and geometric shapes. They all come together on the back side to create beautiful patterns, and then the faces have all been readapted as well so that your pips and indice placement will look good in fans and spreads as well, and we will talk about all of this. The tuck case is all done in this blue and pink and gray. It features isometric patterns that wrap all the way around the box, and these patterns, they kind of seamlessly flow together to create a modified depiction of the back design. And there's really not a lot of words on this. It does say Project Subtle on the front, and the bottom has some ad copy. It says they were printed by Cardamundi and that there were 1,500 decks produced. The box is also one of those unique boxes where the back is the front and the front is the back. That's everything I can say about the tuck case. Let's take a look inside. Here's a nice beautiful close-up of that back design. You can see there's a lot going on there, lots of color. Again, you're gonna see those isometric, geometric shapes. They're all intertwining together to make a composite, and I think understated back design. It's not very complex, it doesn't overwhelm you. Some of these shapes contain a color. So you have that blue or the pink, and what that does is, as it fades from one color to the next, it creates a specific pattern when you spin the card. There's also other visual elements that are built into this. For instance, the border. You're gonna notice the border has broken color of the blue and pink. So when you do a fan or a spread, okay, you're gonna see a more fluid motion when you're doing your cuts and flourishing. That broken color is also going to ensure that when you're doing a fan or you're doing a cut, that the transition from one card to the next is easy to see and easy to follow. With this deck, you're gonna get 4 ad cards. 4 ad cards. One of them just says Project Shuffle, and it probably could be your Joker if you wanted to use it as such. There's another one that maybe could be used as a Joker. I don't know. None of them really scream Joker to me. One of them is even an arts and crafts project where you could poke a pen through it and spin it on your pen. Now, going through the face cards, there's a lot of elements we can talk about. I'll start with the aces, because that's where we typically start. The aces are very minimal, they're very clean, but you're also gonna see that there's a little cube. There's a little cube above and below the indice. That's just to keep the negative space to a minimum, you know, because the ace is the only card that has a single pip floating in the center. And what the designers wanted to do was just add something else to the ace so that it's not as obvious when it goes spinning by. You're also gonna notice that the pips have all been redesigned. The quartz have been redesigned. The font in the corner, all unique, all original. Nothing is borrowed or left over. So looking at one of these face cards, I want to show you a lot of the different features that you have here. One of them is you have a little small color palette, like a graphic designer's color palette at the top, and what it does is it'll form a line when you fan the cards. The pip placement is also unique because it's a lot larger. So you're gonna have less unbalanced negative space. The other reason to have a large index would be to have it more visible in a fan. There's also a color line below the index, which also makes another unique pattern when you do fans, and it makes the whole deck more visually appealing. You're gonna notice that the suits don't have any color. Every single card is gray and has the same color placement throughout. So again, when you're doing a fan or a spread or a flourish, no one card is gonna leap out at your viewer or your audience. They're not gonna say, oh, there goes a quart or there goes a pip, right? They're gonna look the faces are going to look similar, just like the backs look similar. The other interesting thing about the pips and indice cards is one pip out of all of them have been colored. And with the court cards, either an item of their clothing or their weapon is colored. And I think the subtle playing cards are a beautiful deck for cardistry and flourishing, and will be a great addition to your deck collection. It's really beautiful, it's very creative, I like what they've done here. If I were gonna say anything negative, I think the spade and the heart look very similar. And if I were using this for gameplay or Magic, I think a spectator would have some difficulty deciphering the spades, and they might, at first glance, they might think that they were hearts. All right, that's what the cards look like, but you also want to know how they feel. If you've had the new Cardamundi stock, if you've had the B9 stock, you're gonna kind of know already how these cards feel. When Cardamundi prints, they kind of print on the thicker side of things. So 10 of these in the caliper come to 3.04. 3.04 is a thick card. It's even beyond what we would consider a casino grade stock. So depending on how you like cardistry cards, if you like stiff cards or thicker cards, this would be great. Some cardistry people like thinner cards, just so that they're more malleable, more pliable, but that's gonna be your preference style. All right, so that's pretty much everything I can say about the subtle playing cards from Project Shuffle. I want to thank Murphy's Magic Supplies for allowing me to have this deck so that I could do the review for you. And if you'd like to purchase them for yourself, they are available wherever quality Murphy's Magic products or quality decks of cards are sold. Thanks. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.